Hey everybody, this document is all about how to select quality literature for young children. And we're going to go over the ideas of what quality means and how to make good selections of quality children's literature. And the first thing that you really want to look at is the content or the message of the story. Is the poem or the book about a familiar subject that children already have some background knowledge in? Is it going to be interesting to the child? And how do you know, right? So first you have to know the children and know their interests. Is it written in mature syntax? And syntax is the organizational structure of our language. And so when I am trying to remember what syntax means, I always think of Yoda, because Yoda always plays with the organization of words in his sentence structure. And so when you're looking at or reviewing a book for young children, take a look at the syntax. Is the sentence structure mature? Is it accurate? Is it appropriate? Does it contain new vocabulary words? Children are learning vocabulary at an astounding rate, and reading stories is one of the best ways to provide new information and new vocabulary. Is the content understandable by the young child? Is it something that they can relate to? And does the poem or story represent the real world accurately? And by this, I mean the content as well as the images. So you'll want to look and see, do the images match the text that's on the page? Next is the form. Is the text appropriate length for the intended audience? You're clearly not going to read a chapter book to a group of toddlers, right? Their attention span is maybe 1 minute at a time. But you might read a chapter book to a group of third graders, right? You might choose a shorter picture book for young preschoolers and maybe a longer picture book for kindergartners. But you'll want to gauge the length. You'll want to gauge the length to make sure that it's appropriate for your intended audience. Does it follow a nice flow when you read it aloud? When you read it aloud, do you stumble, or is it easy to read? Are there opportunities for repetition, rhythm, and rhyme? Is there onomatopoeia? And that just means words that sound like what they are. So swish or buzz. And then next, look at the pictures. Are they interesting? Are they artistic? Are they large enough for a group of children to see? If you're doing a story read aloud with a group of 18 preschoolers or 22 kindergartners, the kid that's sitting in the back needs to be able to see the pictures too. Are they clear? Is there one image per page? If there's more than one image per page, is it clear? Is it understandable? And again, does it match the words that are on the page? Emergent readers and beginning readers are using the pictures on the page as context clues when they are trying to decode the words. So you want to make sure that the pictures match the words on the page. And are they realistic? And so the best way to know that a picture in a story is realistic is if it's a photograph, right? But next you'll want to look for illustrations that are realistic in nature. You don't want pictures that are too cartoony or are too abstract that don't match the story. And then you'll want to look at the effect. Would the story potentially have a positive effect upon children? So does it support language, intellectual development, personality development, or social moral development? We will get into each of those this quarter and what they mean. Does it help children build accurate concepts and clarify any misconceptions about the real world? Does it avoid portraying racist and sexist behaviors and or attitudes? And we are going to talk more in depth about how to really analyze children's literature so that we're avoiding any of these themes that are racist, sexist, or have biased attitudes. Does it honor culture and linguistic differences? Here's a tip if you didn't know this. I know that Dr. Seuss is a well-loved favorite. I've read Dr. Seuss books to my own kids for years. But if you pick up a Spanish copy of Redfish, Bluefish, what's the fun part about Dr. Seuss's books? it's that they rhyme, right? But the second that you translate those books into a different language, they don't rhyme anymore. So that's just something to think about. And then would the story potentially have a negative effect upon children? Does it create fear? Does it show violence? Does it portray any unsafe situations? Does it stereotype populations of people? Does it create confusion through time sequences? Are there dream states? Is it a distortion of reality? So those are all the things that you want to consider when you are selecting quality children's literature. All right, everybody, I'll see you online.